On the eastern shore of the Mediterranean is a city whose very name speaks of the restoration that is Israel today. A tel is the archaeological term for the mound covering the ruins of an ancient city. Aviv is a stage in the ripening of the barley ears in the spring, heralding a new year. So the modern metropolis of Tel Aviv symbolizes new life rising from something very ancient. It was only founded in 1909, and look what it is already. This view is from the ancient city of Yafo, sometimes called Joppa, a seaport in the tribe of Dan's territory that's been in continuous use for 4,000 years. From here Jonah began his infamous voyage away from the Assyrian capital, Nineveh. John Hawley points out that he was so reluctant to go there because Assyria was the up-and-coming world power, and Jonah knew that if they repented, Yahweh could use them to punish the northern kingdom, which was proving to be less righteous than that Gentile nation. The theme of Yahweh's concern for the nations continued here at Yafo, where Shimon Peter, or Kepha, to whom Yeshua had said he was giving the keys to the kingdom, had a vision that told him he should not bar non-Jewish fears of Yahweh, like Cornelius, from also becoming part of Israel. Cornelius had come to Yafo from 30 miles up the coast. He was a military official stationed at Caesarea, or Caesarea, where Pontius Pilate had his administrative headquarters. And it was by a stone found here that archaeologists first found objective proof that this Pilatus really did exist. Herod the Great had made Caesarea his capital of Judea, a showcase of Hellenistic culture. This theater required only minor repairs to make it usable again after 2,000 years, because the city had been covered in sand which had been washed up from the Nile, and this preserved it well. Part of his huge artificial deep water harbor can still be seen. It boasted a lighthouse and an aquarium. But although there's a lot of water here, none of it is drinkable. So it had to be piped down via this aqueduct from springs on Mount Carmel, 10 miles away. Mount Carmel separates the coastal plain from the Jezreel Valley, the only level ground that goes all the way from the Mediterranean to the Jordan River. So naturally, it was an important trade route in ancient times. We're viewing it here from Megiddo, which controlled the only easy pass through the Carmel Range. So whoever held Megiddo had influence over the whole Middle East. Yahweh made sure all the major trade routes of the ancient Near East had to pass right through this land where 3 continents converge, so all the world could see the results of the wise instruction he had given. This way Israel could be a light to all nations. All too often, though, all this contact had the opposite effect. Israel allowed foreign religions into the land, as evidenced by altars like this one. So on Mount Carmel, Eliyahu the prophet had to have a showdown with 850 pagan priests. Now we're climbing the end of Mount Carmel, where Eliyahu sent his servant to look out over the sea for any sign of rain clouds. From its summit today, we overlook the modern city of Haifa, Israel's only natural harbor and a center for the highest technology research in the world today. At the foot of Mount Carmel is the Kishon River, where Eliyahu got the water to drench his offering. Beyond it is the tribal land of Asher and the ancient port of Ptolemais, now known as Akko, a major entry point and stronghold during the Crusades. Akko's unique system of defense kept even Napoleon from taking the city. Watch. You scale this wall, but instead of arriving inside the city, you find yourself in a second moat, and you're trapped. Here's where the actual city begins. Akko has been called the most oriental city in Israel today.